as the summer starts to like get closer and it starts to get warm, I am in such a like good mood, and I do think that like moving and stuff keeps me in that good headspace. But I want to put up these books that I got in the last video. I haven't put them up yet, but I also want to show you guys some books that I'm thinking of bringing with me on vacation, because I'm going on 2 trips with some book girlies, and it's gonna be so fun. One week is gonna be like one group of friends, and the other week's gonna be another group of friends, and then of course I'm gonna be vlogging the whole thing. But I feel like it's gonna put me in the mood for like really warm weather books, so let me put these away and then we can pick out the books that I'm gonna bring with me. I have a large stack of books behind me. That's my whole TBR for next month, but I also have some books up there that I think I want to get to this week. I've kind of moved around my TBR just because so many new books have come out and I don't want to wait to read them. And I think in my head, I'm always like, oh, I want to stick to my TBR. So like if I put this on my TBR for next month, like I'll just wait till next month. But like if I'm excited to read the book now, why not read the book now? So I think I'm going to be reading some books from my TBR for next month this week, which I think by the time that you guys will be watching this will be at the end of the month, I'm pretty sure. So it neither here nor there, it doesn't really matter. But I want to remind you, if you're someone who likes to like stick to your TBR, or like you get a little overwhelmed with picking books, just pick what you like to read. Like whatever is drawing your attention, read that in the moment. I actually get asked a lot from people on Instagram, probably more than like anywhere else, but people ask like, how do I choose what's the next book I want to read? And literally the way I choose it is like what I'm feeling. Like if I am feeling a romance and it's like a book that just came out, even if I've had a book on my shelf for a month and I've been meaning to get to it and I have it, I will read that book that I am like itching to read that just came out. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't know, I think I have been, I don't know, thinking a lot about just books in general and how I want to consume them. And I think for me, mood reading is what is best, because I always find that I fall in love with reading so much more when I'm just reading based on my mood. I'm not reading based on what other people recommend to me. I'm not reading based on what is popular at the moment. I'm genuinely just reading what is like exciting me the most. So yeah, I just am really excited about all of these books. I haven't decided which books I want to read on vacation. That is the hardest thing, because I don't know what mood I'm going to be in. Like in the future, you know what I mean? But it just is kind of hard to decide. So I think I'm gonna bring like 5 books with me when I go on vacation. I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I think one of the hardest things about deciding what I want to read on vacation is like, I don't know what future Shaughnessy is going to want to read. Like, am I going to want to read a thick, heartfelt romance that's going to make me cry? Am I going to want to read something that's cutesy? Am I going to want to read contemporary fiction? I don't know. So I try to get like a mix of everything. So let me grab a few books and show you guys the ones that I'm thinking about bringing with me. There's truly nothing worse than picking the wrong books to take with you on vacation. So I have 2 stacks right here. Both stacks are very different. These are like, they're different but kind of the same, okay? So the first stack, I'd say, has more books that aren't as talked about. The second stack has more books that are like viral. So I want to show you guys the books in the first stack. I think this is the one that I'm most excited about. But part of me is like, right now I'm gravitating towards like heartfelt, deep romances. But I think it's because I don't know if I'd say I'm currently drawn to it, but I feel like I will be drawn to that on vacation. Like that's what I love reading the most, like really heartfelt, deep romances. And I think this week I'm gonna read mostly like fluffy reads. So I feel like by next week, I'll be more interested to read like a heartfelt romance. That's just like my thought. Like I don't usually read the same type of book back to back to back. Like, and if I do, it's like I need a break. But I have two cutesy reads here. So this is Love by Miyako May, and then Some Kind of Forever by Layla James. This has actually been on my TBR for a minute, but I think it only has like 90 reviews on Goodreads or something, and this book just came out. So these books are not super hyped up. They're both by Black authors, which I love to support. I also have Cleopatra and Frankenstein, which this one is more popular, but I kind of want to bring it because the girls that are going on this trip read like thought daughter books, like books with like the cool, like elusive covers. You know, the girls who drink black coffee, like they all read books like this, and I love Blue Sisters, so I feel like one of them has probably read this and it'll be fun to talk about. And then I also want to read On Merit Alone. I always try to bring a thick book with me on vacation because I feel like these are the books that I can really get through on the plane. Part of me is thinking like maybe I need to bring a thriller, because anytime I get on a plane, I'm immediately like wanting to read a thriller because I don't really know how much spice is going to be in a book, and I don't really like reading spice, any kind of spice, on a book or in a plane when someone's going to be like looking over my shoulder at what I'm reading. And then I also want to read Out on a Limb, and I think the reason I just want to read this is it looks like a really easy read. The words are really big, and I have like the original copy like before they redid the covers, so that's the first stack. Most of these books I would say are not super popular. I think the only really popular books are Out on a Limb and Cleopatra and Frankenstein. This stack right here is a little bit more popular. It's a little bit more fun. The top two books, these are both books that just came out. Beg, Borrow, and Steal and Promise Me Sunshine. I feel like these are cutesy, these are fun, but I do have a trip after next week. There's another trip I'm going on with girlies who read books, and they all kind of read like cutesy reads like this. So part of me is like, should I wait to read these cutesy reads during that trip, because some of them will probably read it and that we can like talk about it, which I feel like is some of the most fun things about books. And then I also have these two books by Black authors. I have one thick book, and then The Fastest Way to Fall, which this is like going to be, I feel, very fun, cutesy read. On the front, it literally says warm, fuzzy, and ridiculously cute, the perfect feel-good read, and that's by Emily Henry, which I love her writing. And I've read two other books by Denise Williams and really love them. So I'm thinking about bringing this, and then Landing on Mars, which this is a book by Black author. It doesn't have a lot of hype yet, but it is a thick book. It's supposed to be heartfelt and deep, and I just feel like that would be a really good one to bring. And then, of course, a contemporary fiction. This one looks like it's gonna be less like heavy. Like the other book, maybe it's just the cover of it, but this contemporary fiction versus this contemporary fiction, this is giving vacation, and this first vacation I'm going on is like a beach vacation. And this is by the author who wrote The Wedding People, and I love that book. I rated it like 4.5. No, I rated it 5 stars. Like I literally was obsessed with it. I cannot stop talking about it. So I kind of want to read another book by an author that I love on vacation. And then I read Blue Sisters and I rated it 4.5 out of 5 stars. So I don't know if I should go with the second stack, which is fluffy, fun, cutesy for the most part, more like popular books, or if I should go with the books that are like not as known, like they're probably not going to have as much hype, because I genuinely don't know very many people who've read these other than Out on a Limb and Cleopatra and Frankenstein. But these might be books that I resonate with more because I don't really know what I'm getting into versus the other books. I feel like I have an idea of what I'm getting into. I don't know, it's the hardest thing choosing what to bring on vacation. I will say it is easier now that I have a Kindle, but I still love reading in physical form too. So I definitely want to be able to bring the book that I'm resonating with the most on this trip. I decided that I want to read new releases this week, and I'm starting with the Love Lyric because it's one I've been really excited to read. There are honestly so many good books that I want to read right now, but I feel like this is one I've been just like anticipating so much. So I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to try to read like 4 books this week. Hopefully, we'll see if I get there, but I have a few on my TBR, so I'll show you guys whenever I get back. And guys, I feel like Walmart has better books than a lot of other places, because I literally just bought this book by Casey Mills and they have it in here in Walmart, which is wild because I feel like so many bookstores don't have a ton of books by Black authors. But I don't know, just the Walmart is doing it. They have so many good options and I'm loving that. It is also so wild how long it's taken Funny Story by Emily Henry to be out in paperback. It just came out in paperback not that long ago, and her newest book is almost released. Like, if you had waited to get this on paperback, you would literally be a year behind in like her book releases. So I just think that that's funny, and maybe it's because they know that if they don't release the paperback that they're gonna get more money because people are gonna like want to buy the hardback. I do really like this spine. I think that's really pretty, but I just think it's so funny. They also have a Walmart exclusive edition in first time color. The original cover I think is pink and this one is purple, which is cute. I love when they do that. It does make me want to buy both books though. I haven't heard anyone talk about any books by Mia Sheridan in so long. The last book I heard people talking about was Archer's Voice, and since then I haven't really heard anyone talking about any of her stuff. Has anyone read this new book that she had, Falling for Gage? I don't know if it's like a new release or if it's just like a new cover, but I don't know. I really loved Archer's Voice, so I kind of want to read another one of her books. One thing that this author can do is make a book with a pretty cover. I know she's going to come out with a new book this year and it's going to have a really pretty cover and it is going to pull me in, but I need to just buy it from the library because I wasn't obsessed with this book, and I haven't read this one because of that. But the new book, I could like it, but I just need to read it from the library instead. I finished the Love Lyric and I have a little package to open with you guys. Before I open the package, I want to give you guys thoughts on the book. I kind of feel like I look like I don't know, like a rocker girl, because like this hair is like so far to the left, but it is so long that I just cannot have it like in front of my face. And I usually will like bobby pin it up, but now it's even so long that like if I bobby pin it, it still will like come down my face. So anyway, I'm trying to figure out, like, as my hair has grown, like different styles and stuff, because it doesn't really feel long enough to have it like on the side. Like, I feel like that looks kind of funny. Like, I like it to be in the middle, but I don't know, it's too long. So I kind of just try to like push it up, but it's like, the point of it growing is to like, you know, wear it as it is and not like pin it up to make it look shorter. But anyway, finished the book. This wasn't really what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be a little bit more cutesy, and this book definitely was in some parts, but there were harder topics, like, you know, things about his family and just like, I don't know, I think I expected it to be just like a pure cutesy read, and whenever I go into a book, I feel like if it doesn't meet the expectations of what I think it's gonna be, I don't ever rate it like as high, because I'm usually in the mood for that thing. So like, I was in the mood for like a super cutesy, like just straight fluff type of book. And this book did have fluff, but like it wasn't really as much as I was expecting. So I don't know, I think I'm gonna rate this one 3 stars. It's cute, but again, it wasn't like, it almost didn't have enough depth to be a book that would be like heart-wrenching or something that would like, you know, really get me right there. But it also didn't really have enough fluff to me for it to be like a fluffy cutesy read. I'm like, I just kind of wanted to be like, what are we trying to do here? Because on the front it says Equal Parts Swoon and Fire by Sarah Adams, and Sarah Adams writes cutesy romances. So that's just like what I expected it to be. And again, it was cute, but it wasn't like as cute as I thought. Like, it was, you know, kind of like a hidden, forbidden relationship thing. I just thought it would be a little bit more fun, but anyway, it was cute, just not as cute as I thought. I think the next book I'm going to read is this book right here by Fallon Ballard, and it's called Change of Heart. This is another new release, and I think it came out actually in February. This book, I feel like, is gonna give me what I expected from the Love Lyric, the cutesy vibes. Like, that's just what I'm in the mood for right now, and I think it's because I was in the mood for it with the Love Lyric, and I didn't really feel like it hit the spot. So this book, I'm kind of expecting it to be like 3.5 stars, and sometimes I wonder, like, should I start changing my ratings, because I feel like this is going to hit in the like fluffy cutesy way that I think it will. And if it does, is that not 5 stars? You know, like, it's not 5 stars, but do you know what I'm saying? It's like, if it's hitting and like meeting the expectations of what I think it's gonna be, would it not, even if it's just like a medium book, like, is it not more than like 3.5 stars? I don't know, but I want to open up this and give you guys a little like mini haul. It's just one thing, but I bought this for this trip that I am going on, and it's so cute. I got this from Vera Bradley. I haven't gotten anything from Vera Bradley in a while, but since I'm going on a trip, I knew I needed something, and I have that other pink bag that I showed you guys in another video, and I will either have that one or this one, or maybe I'll take both. And then I also have this laptop case, and I needed a new one, and they match and they go together. So yeah, I'm gonna start this book, and I'll give you guys my thoughts as I get into it more. I think as I'm watching this, I am really realizing the reason why I mood read, because I am on chapter 4 of this, and I'm like, maybe I'm in the mood for historical fiction. Guys, this is a problem. Not a problem, but it's like, it's just so funny, which I am only reading like this book right now, so it would make sense for me to start another book in a different genre. So I think I'm gonna go home and start historical fiction. I just really love like reading lots of books at one time, and I didn't used to be that type of person. I would usually read one book and then another book, and maybe part of it is because like I don't really see a ton of people who read like 4 or 5 books at a time. And I think I do it because literally I will be in the middle of a book enjoying it, but be like, I don't know. It's kind of like when you're watching TV and you're like watching Love Island or Temptation Island or some other reality TV show. And then you're like, actually, I kind of want something else with a little bit more depth. And you like decide to put on another TV show like mid like episode, and I feel like that's how I am with books. So I am enjoying this. It is very cute. It's giving exactly what I thought it would give. It definitely is something that could be like a cutesy like rom-com. I'm only on chapter 4, so I'm not super far into it, but I feel like it's gonna be this sickeningly sweet cutesy romance that I'm looking for. And you can definitely tell it's like Hallmark. Like the girl, she's like a workaholic, like she'll do anything to like get back to her job. And I feel like sometimes Hallmark movies are so like over the top, where it's like this girl is like, I'll do anything to get to my job. It's like, girl, you don't love your job that much. Like, come on. Like, whenever I'm watching a Hallmark movie and the like main character is like, you know, from the big city, and she goes back to the city, and all of a sudden the loud noises are too loud, and her heel breaks when she's going to the office. Like, it just is giving that type of like book, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it because that's exactly what I was looking for. So I think I'm gonna go back. I do think I'm gonna start historical fiction. I think I'm gonna make some chili tonight. It is like a really nice day out, but there's just never a day where I will not enjoy chili. Maybe it's like a Midwest thing. Also, I say this all the time, like maybe that's a Midwest thing, and maybe it's just like a human thing, because I'll be like, oh, I love milk. Like, I just, you know, drink milk by the glass, and I think that's a Midwest thing, and people will be like, people do that everywhere. So I need to stop saying that. Like, I really need to stop saying that. But yeah, I'm gonna head back. I'm like so tired, and I know the yawn police are gonna come out, but like, I don't even care. If you guys are new here, like, some people don't like when I yawn, but it's like, it is what it is. I'm like holding up a lot of stuff at one time. I actually, speaking of holding up a lot of stuff, it's making me think of like work, and some of you guys have actually asked for like a work day in my life type of thing, and I actually thought about making a work day in my life video instead of the video that's gonna go up like coming up soon, and I was like, I don't really want to do that. Like, I don't, like, I love what I do, but I don't really love the process behind it, and I think it's because the work behind it is like boring to me. Like, I don't really enjoy editing. And I think I would enjoy editing more if I was editing like one thing, like if I just edited YouTube videos, but like I'm editing YouTube videos. I'm also editing like just TikToks and reels and shorts for YouTube. So it's just like a lot of editing. And I also thought about like giving you guys a work day in my life, and I was like, the day would be me filming stuff and editing stuff. And like, I don't know, maybe you want to see that. Let me know if that's something you guys want to see. I feel like the influencer, like, actual job is not glamorous, like, at all. Like, the fun things, like book shopping or whatever, like, those obviously are very fun, and having, like, the flexibility, but I don't think a lot of creators consider those things to be work. At least I don't. And I think most people would probably agree that like that isn't, it is work, but it doesn't feel like work. You know, it's kind of like if you have like a work party to go to. Yeah, that's work, but like that's not like the nitty gritty, like real deal stuff, you know, that's like the real work. Like it is, you know what I mean? It is work. It's just not. It like doesn't feel like it, I guess I'll say. But I was out there filming. Oh no, I just lost my spot. I was out there filming, and I was filming for Amazon because I'm working with them. And guys, I cannot tell you, and this is just something that's like a back end thing, so like no one would know unless I tell you, but I'm literally about to tell you now. I am so intentional about making sure that when I work with like any brand, and it's like specifically book related, that I am sharing books by Black authors. And there have been many times where a brand has come and been like, hey, we want you to like show these specific books. And I'm like, that's great. Love that you're offering these books, but also I want to add in these books. Or sometimes I'll be like, actually, can we scrap that whole list and like share these instead? And sometimes they'll like push back and be like, well, like, you know, but it's like, how are you gonna say no? Like, you can't share books by Black authors when you see my feed, like when you see my content, you know? So again, you guys know I read authors by literally anyone. Like, obviously this author is not a Black author, but I think when I show up on Instagram and TikTok, because those things are very heavily like a search engine, and so is YouTube, but like a 2-hour long video, most people aren't like searching for something and then gonna watch a 2-hour long video, but they might be searching for something on TikTok or Instagram and watch like a 15-second video. And so if I am sharing something, I want it to be specifically uplifting the stories that are not getting the hype. And so like with Amazon, whenever I was or am working with them, this is like, I've worked with them many times. But when I'm working with them for this, they sent me this thing called a brief. And if you're not familiar, a brief, it's like a like list of do's and don'ts. It's like, use this hashtag, like it's just like nitty gritty stuff, like make sure it's, you know, filmed where it's like, you know, this framing, like they're not telling you what to say or do, and they'll tell you like what they would like you to highlight. So they'll be like, oh, we have this sale going on, we'd love for you to highlight that kind of thing. But you, again, say it in your own words and all that stuff. And usually you have to write out like what you're thinking that you're gonna say, or like how the content's gonna look. And in this brief, they had like some book examples of like, these are some books to choose from. And there's probably a lot of people who'd be like, oh, perfect. Like, these are books I can choose from. This is what we're going to use. I'm not even kidding. I didn't pick one book from that list. And they were good, popular books. I was like, no, like, I'm going to share some authors that are like nitty gritty. Like, you're not going to find them just by like not searching for them. You know, you're going to have to really search to find these authors. And a lot of the time when I work with Amazon, they will like, we'll do like a collaboration post. So like I'll make a post and it'll also be posted to their feed. So I'm like, not only am I going to uplift these authors that don't get enough hype, I'm also going to uplift these authors that don't get enough hype to other people who don't know me. And I just feel like that is such a important part of like when I share content and whenever I work with a brand. Like I recently worked with Flamingo, and I shared a concept, and I've been using their razors like literally for forever, and I've talked about them. I think I did like a empties, like my recent empties of like stuff that's like I've used and I need to like restock. And one of the things I was sharing was my shaving cream. Oh my gosh, my shaving cream. And it's from there. And I was just sharing like my razors, my shaving cream, like all that stuff. And I gave them this concept of like, I'm going to share books and characters from these books. And I'll share like which character would use which item, which I thought that would be really cool. Because it's like, y'all know that Rome from Only from the Week is going to be rubbing our girl down with some lotion. Like, so I just thought it would be like fun and like, you know, whatever. So anyway, I shared that on Instagram. But before I shared it, I was like picking out books that I wanted to talk about and like the characters. And they're like, oh yeah, sure. Like, no problem. But it's funny how I think so often people, when they work with like bookish businesses, they almost feel like they need to talk about like the Emily Henrys and the Abby Jimenez and like the very, very popular authors. And sometimes they probably do. But there have been many times where I've been given a list of like things to talk, like specific things to talk about. And I'm like, okay, I love that you want to talk about this, but also let's add this in there too. And they're always like, oh yeah, like no problem. But I think it just takes a little pushback. But when you see my feed, it's like, you know why you're here. Like, you know why you're here. Every single video that I share is some type of diverse read. So like, don't come to me and be like, okay, we want you to share, you know, like the most popular books on whatever. Like, no, we're gonna do that, but also we're gonna add in some other authors who need representation too. So I really try to really make that a priority. And sometimes it is hard. Sometimes you don't get like people saying no, but like sometimes you'll get pushback that's like, well, like we want these specific things to be like shared. So like, you know, and it's just like a kind of a back and forth. It's like, well, like I get that. Like I love that, you know, you want to share that. I think that we should, but also, you know, let's also do this too. So, yeah, anyway, I was thinking about that because I just filmed a video, for Amazon, and I love how it turned out. And what's cool is that whenever I work with a brand, I really try to keep the content very like similar to what you guys will already see from me. So it's like, it's just so seamless, which is why I love what I do, because the ads that I do with brands, they're so like seamless. They're so like, I would do that anyway. I would share that anyway. Like I work with Goody, like the hair tie, like hair brand, hair accessories. And I've been using like the Goody hair ties. I think I probably have one in my bag right now. Yeah, it's literally, I have them all over the place. I've been using these forever. This is actually how I put my hair up into a puff. Like every time you see my hair in a puff, I'm always using one of these. And I was working with Goody in Walmart in collaboration with like some pieces that they had from this line. And what's cool is like whenever I was working with them on Instagram, they were like, you know, what's a good concept that you would, you know, how would you want to share this? And I love when a brand comes and like says that, like, how would your audience best receive this? But also, how do you want to like share, you know, this message and like let people know that there's like this new thing coming? And I was like, oh, well, I'll do like a little day in my life. And so I went over to Walmart and I looked at the books that were there, and I like talked about the books that had come out, and you could see the hair pieces. And I was like dressed up in a cute little dress with like a matching hair tie and bow. And I was like just talking about how I always feel so much better when I dress up. Like if I don't dress up, I kind of feel like but whenever I do dress up and like wear a cute dress and like a matching bow with a matching hair tie, I just feel better, especially when it's like not really super, super warm yet. At least it is today, but like whenever I filmed this, it wasn't. And I was saying how that's like a great way to like make your day a little bit brighter, is to like dress, you know, the part. And after that, I went to the library and I looked at some books in the library, and I think that was it. And it's just like, that's so true to what I do and my favorite things to do. Now it does take some finessing, because as a Black creator, like we have to work 10 times as hard, and we are offered 10 times less in payment than like other people. So, and it's in any industry. Like, you know, if you're someone who's in any minority group, you do have to work hard. You know, if you're in the corporate world, like when I used to work in the corporate world, I was freaking trying to just slam open the doors to get into those opportunities that I knew I deserved, that someone else didn't see that I deserved, but I knew I did because I had done the work, and I was a lot of the time more qualified than someone else who maybe got the job because their friend was a friend of the friend of somebody. So I know it's the same in this realm, but I think that what makes me really excited is whenever I create a piece of content, which is like, I'm just so excited now because like I created something that I love and that I know I would literally create whether it's being paid or not, which is the point. Like I love working with businesses and brands that I would just share and like yap about no matter whether I was getting paid or not. Like example, this is from Vera Bradley, and like I opened the bag with you guys and I showed you guys, and I'm like, I love it. Like those are the brands that I'm like, I want to work with. And I have tried to create a space where everything that I share on any platform is very much centered with things that I already love. Like just, it makes me feel so happy that I've done that. But I will say, sharing a day, work day of my life, I do a lot of work on Instagram and TikTok. Like you guys don't see as many ads here, but you see a ton of ads on Instagram and TikTok, and it's because like it's just real heavy over there, which is great because I'm still building, you know, a community in all of these spaces. But my day would literally just be me just like filming, and I would have my camera behind another camera, and you would just watch me film. And then you would watch me edit that thing or read through a brief or read a contract. And I mean, again, it's like I could talk through that stuff, but like I don't really like that nitty gritty stuff. Like I don't like reading through a 12-page contract and being like, hey, like, can we change this or this or this? And, you know, looking at a brief and being like, okay, I got to make sure that I like touch on, you know, this sale date or whatever. Like that just nitty gritty stuff is like doesn't really excite me. And I don't really want to be a teacher of like how to be a creator, because there are people who do that and like do it well. I know there's a creator called Erin on Demand. She's a Black YouTuber, and I remember whenever I first was like not getting into, because I think at this point I'd already kind of gotten into like creating and stuff, but she had a lot of great insight as to how to build like a community. And there's another girl, Katie Steckley. I used to watch her videos. Like there are so many people who create videos on how to be a creator. And I remember I used to watch those videos every single day. If I wasn't watching one of those, I was listening to a podcast, because you can never get too good for what you do. And that's in any field. Even if you're not a creator, if you're working in any sector, you can never get too good at what you do, because there's always going to be someone who's better than you. So like, I would always listen to a podcast every day, and I would listen to YouTube videos every day, just gleaning all the information, everything that I could. And I still do that occasionally, not quite as frequently, because I just don't have as much time. And it's funny, so many people, when they're like a creator and they're not full-time, they're always like, oh, like I can't wait till I go through full-time and I'll have so much more time. And I remember, like I literally told, I remember telling Khalida that. I was like, yeah, you think you're gonna have more time? And I remember telling myself that I would have more time. I remember telling friends, I'm not even kidding, when I was doing like content creation part-time and I had like another full-time job, I was like, oh, when I'm full-time, I'll have so much more time. But the thing is like when it's your bread and butter, when you don't have another paycheck coming in, unless you're like, you know, working, you're gonna work 10 times more. Like, so I remember when I went full time, I had YouTube and I had Instagram, and now I have Instagram, and instead of making, I have Instagram and I have YouTube, and instead of making YouTube videos that are like 20 minutes long, they're like an hour or 2 hours sometimes. And I also post twice a week, and I have my podcast that I post every Friday, and there's TikTok where I post every, day on TikTok. And then, of course, when you're working with brands, you have to make tons of edits. So, like, I submitted the content to Amazon, but they're going to come back and probably be like, hey, I think you should tweak this or that. And it's usually just, like, spelling things, or they're like, I want you to capitalize maybe the word Amazon, or I want you to move this or zoom in on this or whatever. It's just, like, little things. And then after that, you still have, like, your community that you built that you want to talk to. And so you got to answer messages on TikTok. And, I have like 220,000 friendships on TikTok, and 200 or 190,000 on Instagram, and 53,000 or something like that on YouTube. And then obviously there's my podcast, and all of those have messages that people will send, and there's comments that people will send. So, like, you're constantly trying to cultivate a community, which takes time. And the more you grow, the more time it takes. So I don't outsource anything. The only thing that I get like help with is I have management that they like negotiate things for me. They also like get emails. So like whenever I finish the Amazon content, I dropped it into a file and they send it over to them. And then if Amazon has any edits, they'll send it to my manager, who will kind of like get all the information and consolidate it to an email, and then they'll send it to me. And yeah, I just like, that is my team. And so like everything else is me, which is obviously, it's just me. So it's like, it takes a lot of time, but in the future, I feel like there's other things that I definitely want to lean into more. I want vlogs to be even longer than they are, because I love long vlogs. I could see in the future maybe adding more podcast days. I could see myself posting more on TikTok. I could see myself posting more on stories on Instagram. I usually post like, 7 to 10 times like a day or something like that. I don't know, there's just so much that I could do, and I always want to do more because I want to continue to build and cultivate the community that I've created. So I just feel really grateful for that. Anyway, long-winded answer to a question you didn't ask, but will I do like a work day in my life? I don't know. Comment below if you guys want to see something like that, but I feel like I just explained the whole thing just now. Try to look for books that I haven't like seen before, and this book, The Playmaker by Deanna Fashion, it looks really cute. I always try to find books by authors that like maybe aren't hyped up as much, because I feel like if you're only buying authors that like, or books by authors that people are talking about a lot, you're missing out on a lot of good stories. Speaking of authors, I love how Catherine Center makes her spines look. These are so pretty, like all the flowers on here. I just love that. I'm a big, like, if the cover looks good, I want to bring it home type of girl, and this cover is so cute. It looks like a really cutesy little rom-com, which has been what I've been like wanting to read lately. Did you guys see that Chloe Walsh is coming out with a new book? It's literally coming out, I think, in May, and it is just gonna be a continuation of this. I want to say it's like Releasing 10. I can't remember the name. I also feel like her books are so confusing to me, because this is like Binding 13, Keeping 13, and then there's like Saving 6, and I think it's like the numbers from the like guys' jerseys or something, but like, I don't know, that's just confusing to me because they're like so, like the numbers are out of order. It's Binding 13, Keeping 13, Saving 6, Redeeming 6, Taming 7, and I think the next one is like something 10, and it's like Lizzie's story. And yeah, this book just came out with like a new cover, or not a new, well, it does have a new cover, but it has like these special edition pages, and it also has additional pages in the back. These authors are releasing books faster than I can read them. Bestie Faith was talking about this thriller on one of her videos on Instagram, and she said that she loved it. She said she's kind of like a fraidy cat, I think. I think that's what she said, when it comes to thrillers. And now this is making me want to read this thriller because I'm a fraidy cat. When it comes to thrillers, like, it can't be too scary. I feel like young adult thrillers are hit or miss for me, but if someone else tells me that it's good, I know it's gonna be good. This is another cover that literally makes me want to bring this book home, but I think this is like the third book in this series and I haven't read any of them, but I love this cover so much more than the other ones. I have a little haul and I also want to give you guys a book update. So I'll start with the book update first. I ended up finishing this so quickly because it is just such a fun, cutesy read. This is exactly what I was expecting. Like, this is what I was wanting out of the love lyric. And again, the love lyric was good. I just think it wasn't what I expected. I expected it to be just like straight fluff, cutesy, you know, nothing really more than that. This literally gave Hallmark, and I am in a mood for this, and I feel like I haven't been in a really long time because I don't know, I just feel like I, in the past, was just like, oh, well, you know, if the story isn't, you know, having a ton of depth or heartbreak or whatever, like, am I gonna be able to connect with the characters? And it's interesting because when I first got into romance, I only wanted to read books like this, but I think it's because I was in a time or like going through something that I literally was like, I don't have the brain or emotional capacity to take on like a story that is like really heartfelt and deep. So all I would read would be like the cutesy little romances, and now I'm getting back into it, which is really nice. I didn't really stop, but I just kind of wasn't picking them up as often. This story literally feels like a Hallmark movie. It's about a girl who gets trapped in this town, and the only way to get out of that town and like back to her family and stuff is to do these 3 things. She has to like find fulfillment in her job, she has to find love, and I can't remember what the other third thing is, but it's very much Hallmark. She's like an unbearable workaholic, like all she does is work, all she cares about is herself, very, you know, self-centered, like the typical Hallmark movie. And she meets this guy who he also is in this town, but he is there for other reasons, and he can only get home if he like does something specific. And so this whole story, you're seeing a change of heart because you're seeing her heart start to melt a little bit, and she starts to care about other people. She starts to care about the town. She starts to care about things other than her job. And this is just a fun book. I feel like if you or someone that just wants pure fluff, Hallmark movie vibes, but actually a good story, you should pick this one up. I will say that I didn't expect there to be spice in this, and I think it's just because anytime I read something that's like fluffy and cutesy, I'm not really looking for spice. Like, I'm looking for tension and love, but the spice I could literally do without, and there is a pretty good amount of spice in this book. So keep that in mind going into it, but it was really fun and enjoyable. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna rate this exactly. I'm thinking maybe 3.5 because it was really enjoyable. I don't know, it was fun. It was fun, it was a quick read. This one was only 315 pages, and the words are pretty big, but also there's all these gaps on the side, so you can see that it kind of takes up a lot of the page. It was pure fun. So I think the next book that I'm gonna start is Harlem Rhapsody. I feel like I wanna get into this and try to, you know, see how I feel about it because it's been a very anticipated read of mine. I read the Personal Librarian that was co-written by this author and just absolutely ate it up. I think that was one of the first historical fictions that I read that was written by a Black author or co-written by a Black author. But yeah, let's get into everything that I picked up at Barnes. I ended up getting 2 books from Barnes, and the first book that I picked up is Unloved by Peyton Corin. I got this book because I actually own the first book in this series and I really want to read it soon. It's pretty short, and I kind of feel like since there's only 2 books in this series that I will immediately want to jump into this one. It's a hockey romance, and on the back it says, "They would be so easy to love, but they both feel unlovable." And then at the last sentence, I'm not going to read like the whole blurb, but at the last sentence it says, can they find a way to prove their love to each other, or will Freddie's past and reputation convince him that he's not worthy of the one person he's ever cared about? And it also looks like Freddie, who his name is actually Matt, but I guess they call him Freddie because his like last name is Frederick, I think. He's barely scraping by with a 2.0. He is dyslexic, he has ADHD and dyscalculia, which is that like when you like can't see like you have issues with like numbers, or you like struggle with like numbers? I don't know. I'm not really sure, but he has an NHL contract upon his graduation if he can like get his life together, and he needs to pass biology. But the professor that is like his biology teacher is one that like doesn't really like him, I think. And then Ro, she's his new tutor. So as you can imagine, it's just gonna be one of those cutesy little romances. I do think it has some deeper themes in this because, I feel like I've heard people talk about it, but I could be wrong. This came out in 2025, so I'm really excited to read this, but I want to read the first book in the series first. And then I also picked up While We Were Dating by Jasmine Guillory. I love Jasmine Guillory's writing. I haven't read anything of hers in a while because I have not really been in a cutesy read like type of mood lately, and I have read By the Book by her. I read The Wedding Date, I think that's what it's called. And then I also read, what was the other book? Drunk on Love, and loved all three of those books. But again, I read them when I was in my like cutesy romance vibe. Like I remember someone like actually asked me, they're like, what's a good book to read? And it was like booktubers choose my like reads. And I remember recommending By the Book by Jasmine Guillory, and I ate it up. Like I loved it. And I remember the person who like did the video, they were like, oh, it was like good. But I think at the time, I was very big into recommending books that I loved and not really being like, okay, what kind of book are you looking for? Are you looking for something heartfelt? And I think she really loved books that were like heartfelt and deep and like maybe make you cry. That book was like pure fluff. Like actually some of the like dishes in that book, they start to kind of like talk to her. Like it's very much like Beauty and the Beast retelling. And that was just something that I learned after like giving the recommendation. It's like everyone has their own like books that they enjoy, but I feel like a lot of what they enjoy is based off of their mood or their interests. And I just haven't been really in the mood to read anything that's just like pure fluff. And now I am. Now I think just reading those fluffy reads, it just made me want to pick up something that's like pure fluff, no drama, nothing wild. And I mean, I have a good mix of books that, you know, urban fiction books or, you know, books that are like heartfelt and like make you cry, and like things that will kind of like leave my mouth hanging open if I want that. And I don't really have a good mix of just like cutesy romances that I can pull from whenever I am in the mood for that. So picked up both of these books. I do have some more books coming in the mail. They're by like smaller authors, and so I ended up ordering those from Amazon because obviously they weren't going to be in the bookstore. But I'm excited to show those to you guys. I'll probably show you guys those sometime tomorrow. I have braids and I am getting ready to go on a trip. That's why I have them. I also have a stack of books that I think I'm gonna bring with me. I just haven't fully decided what I want to bring because I only want to bring 5, and in this stack I have 6. Now, will I finish these 5 books that I bring? No, like I probably will not, but I just always like to have options. I will say having my Kindle I think is going to be great because if I run out of book options, I can always pick up a book for my Kindle. So I definitely want to bring this with me, but I think I'm going to put this in my duffel bag instead of in my suitcase here. I've also finished 5 books, guys. Like, tell me why I finished 5 books and I haven't even talked about them. These past few days have been so wild, and it's because I'm going out of town, out of the country, with a group of girls for a week. I leave on Sunday, and then I come back and I'm home for like 2 days, and then I'm leaving again on another Bookish trip. So I'll be gone for that week too. So like I have to do so much stuff for work, so much pre-filming. So I've already pre-filmed my like wrap up, and I actually planned on talking more about these books in this video, and in the wrap up I'm like, oh, you guys will like get a good little like, you know, deal with me like talking about these books in this video, and I literally have not talked about hardly any of them, but it's just because I've been so busy. So you guys are gonna get a lot of really good vlogs coming soon. Not that they haven't been great, but you're gonna get a lot with the Bookish besties, and there's another book shopping vlog coming soon with some new releases that are coming out. So really excited for that. But I do want to do a quick wrap up of this after I get done packing my duffel bag. I don't think I'm going to be done packing this bag, but I do want to pack my duffel. So I'll show you guys what I put in that. So I have a lot of things I want to put in here. I'm going to put an extra dress in there. I always like to put an extra outfit. I'm also going to put my Kindle. I wish I had a Kindle case. I just don't have one yet. I also have not decided which books I want to bring. I am kind of decided. I think I'm going to put the cutesy romances in my luggage, and then I'm gonna put like the heavier, harder hitting books that are like gonna make me cry. I'm gonna put these in my duffel. I just don't know which one. I wanna bring two. I for sure am gonna bring On Merit Alone because so many people have rated this 5 stars, but I don't know if I wanna bring the favorites or Cleopatra and Frankenstein. Don't mind the noise. They're working downstairs if you can hear that, but I'm thinking the favorites, but I also have heard that Cleopatra and Frankenstein is great, and I loved Blue Sisters, so not really sure which one I want to put in there, but let me know which one you guys think, because by the time you guys watch this video, I will not have left yet. I will say I am the type that I just immediately want to grab a book from my shelf whenever I am gonna go on vacation. Like immediately I'm like, I don't want to read anything from my TBR. There's just so many good books that have been on my TBR for so long, and it just, I don't know if anyone else is like this. It's like the minute I make a TBR, I'm like, actually, I want to read anything else. Like I've been wanting to read The Vanishing Half for quite some time, and I never have gotten around to it. I also want to read Take My Hand, and I feel like because Harlem Rhapsody didn't really give me what I was kind of expecting it to give with historical fiction. Sorry, they're working downstairs so you guys can hear that, but since it didn't really give me what I want it to give, I feel like there's so many other historical fiction books that maybe will like scratch that itch that I am kind of like missing. But I will say, I don't think once I actually get on vacation, I'm gonna be in the mood for a historical fiction book. I didn't even really put a lot of historical fiction on my TBR for this month because I knew that I would be traveling so much. Like we are traveling 3 weeks out of this entire month, so we're gonna be gone a lot. So I only have one historical fiction, and most of the other books are like cutesy little like romances, and I just thought that that would be more fun than reading like a historical fiction while I'm like on the beach or something. I don't know. I just feel like my mood is dictated a lot by setting, and I think that's why I get so excited to read the like cutesier romances when I'm on vacation. But again, I connect more with the heartfelt and deep romances like this one, or you know, like this one probably will be. And so it's just a hard, like, I don't know, it's I'm really like making this too serious, but if you're a book lover, you know exactly what I mean. I also forgot about my headphones. I definitely want to put these in here. I love using those at the airport, either those or I'll use my little like loop earplugs, and I'm gonna put those probably in my wallet because they're like a little bit smaller. But yeah, this is the cutest bag ever, and I'm really excited to bring it with me for the first time on a trip. I'll just use this as my like personal item, even though it's a little bit big. I literally don't care. Like I've never had a time where someone has been like, oh, look, you can't use that as your personal item. Like this is not a carry-on. This is a tote, okay? This is a tote, and it's so cute. So yeah, I'm gonna bring this. Obviously you guys can hear the noise in the background. They are working on the basement. I'm really hoping that it's done by the time that I get back. You just never know like how fast things go, but I'm hoping, not by the time I get back from the first trip, but by the second trip, I'm hoping that like a lot will be finished. But I want to give you guys a quick wrap up of these books because I didn't really get to talk about them, and I really wish that I had because I read so many great books. I talked about the Love Lyric, and I also talked about, I think I talked about Change of Heart, so I'm not gonna like go through those. You guys can always check my reviews on Goodreads, but I ended up reading Harlem Rhapsody. That was the next book that I read, and I don't think that this was my favorite. knew that it was gonna really focus on their relationship, but I didn't know how much, and I feel like the affair really took over the story. And I mean, granted, it was messy, that was fun. I just think when I go into a historical fiction, I want to really get more of the history. And again, it's kind of back to like my mood reading / expectation. It's like, when I am in the mood for historical fiction, my expectation is that I'm going to get history. And again, I was, but I feel like the history was so heavily focused on the like affair versus like everything else that was happening during that time. I did like the history of like, you know, the editorial process and all of that, and like how much work it took to really like get the NAACP like moving, and like all the inner workings behind that. I thought that was really cool. I also feel like learning about people who did not want to associate themselves with other Black people was really interesting. And I feel like you don't read that very often in history books, and you see that even now where it's like people who are Black don't want to take on their own identity because they feel like they're going to be perceived a certain way. You see a lot of that in this book, and I feel like a lot of that comes from people wanting to other themselves and be like, oh, that's not me, I'm not like them. And the them is the like negative perception that the society around them views people who look like them. So that was really interesting to like read, and I feel like I wanted really just more of everything else outside of the affair. Like the affair is really the heavy meat of the story, and so many reviews said that, and I think I knew that going in, but in my head I was just like, oh well, it's historical fiction, so like obviously it's gonna be heavy on the historical fiction too. And I almost feel like this gave like romance, it's not romance, but like it almost gave that vibe more than historical fiction to me. And I know that there are historical fictions that are very heavily romance based, but because this was an affair, it felt like, I don't know, it just felt like there's so much more to her than the affair, and there's so much more to everything that she has given to the world and W.E.B. Du Bois has given to the world, or William as she calls him. And I just wanted to see more of that versus the romance part of it. So it was kind of cool getting cameos of like Langston Hughes and other people of importance. Sorry, I'm trying to pick this like part of my hair got tangled at the bottom. But yeah, it wasn't what I was expecting, I think. And I just expect when I go to historical fiction that it's going to be a little bit different. And maybe because I read The Personal Librarian, and that was so like heavily focused on history, and even though there was like a smidge of romance in there, that was enough for me. And I kind of felt like that's how this story would kind of continue. It would be similar to that writing style where you're getting heavy on the history and heavy on what the main character is like working through and doing in society, and how like the history of that person is moving along, you know, just the world. And I just feel like we didn't get enough of her. It was like everything about him, or how she wanted to like govern her life based on what he wanted, and like I don't know, I was just kind of like, girl, like please. So I don't know how to rate this one, because it was enjoyable, it wasn't not enjoyable, but it just wasn't my favorite. There were a lot of people in this to keep up with. So I don't know, I might land at like 3.5. I don't know. Obviously, you guys will see my Goodreads rating whenever it's like actually up. And once it's up, it's staying there. Like I don't ever change my Goodreads rating unless I reread the book. So, yeah, I'm thinking maybe 3.5. I'm not sure. It could be 3. I don't know. I really need to think about it, because I think part of me wants to rate it higher because I love this author. But then the other part of me is like, how much did I actually enjoy the book itself? I don't know. So it might be 3. I don't know. And then I ended up reading this book, I Think They Love You by Julian Winters. This was the first book that I've read by him. Absolutely freaking love this. This was everything that I wanted in like a rom-com. It was such a beautiful queer read. I just feel like this was so freaking fun. And again, I've never read anything by this author, but I will definitely recommend this book. It was just pure fun. Like if you're looking for a story that's fun, that has like fake dating, that has like that tension, and I don't know, I just feel like you'll really love this one. So I am definitely rating this one 4 stars. It's one I'm gonna be highly recommending. And then I read The Love Simulation, not me just throwing these books around. I read The Love Simulation. This one was also good as well. I don't know if I would say that I like this more than The Kiss Countdown. I think that The Kiss Countdown was definitely my favorite of the two if I really think back, but I don't know, I could change my mind. I feel like I'm the type of person where if I sit on a read for a minute, it gives me more time to like fully flesh out my thoughts, and I feel like I'll really be able to flesh out my thoughts on Goodreads with this one in comparison to just like right after I finish it, because this was the one that I most recently finished. So yeah, those are all the books that I read. Obviously, I wish I had gotten to them in this video. I don't normally read this many books in a short period of time, but all these books were so short. Like this one was super short, this one was super short, and these that weren't short, they were quick. You know what I mean? Like there's some books that aren't short, but they feel short because they're like just cutesy little reads. Really the longest book was Harlem Rhapsody, and it was a book that I could kind of read in tandem with the others when I needed a break from the cutesy. So it was a perfect balance. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know that there are going to be tons of fun videos coming, and we're going to be on the beach, we're going to be with the book besties, we're going to be doing all the things, lots of book shopping, so lots of fun videos are coming. I want to do a book thrifting video, I want to do a book shopping with friends, I want to do a booktubers choose by reads. Like there's so many good videos coming, so be on the lookout, and I've already filmed some of them too, so that makes it even more fun because like I already know what they look like, and I know that you're gonna love them. So make sure you guys are subscribed if you're not. There's new videos every Tuesday and Saturday, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.